and welcome back. And warm greetings to everyone. If you are for the first time on my channel, I'm Joanna Pilatowicz, and this is spiritual, psychological, paranormal, supernatural channel related to whatever is happening in your life and how to stay in the middle ground, your golden core within yourself, whatever your experience is. So today I'm going to talk about gaslighting, that usually you probably know it from relationships, something that happens at your workplace maybe, or it was happening before in your life with different people. You noticed that and it was connected with people. In today's worlds, we have a lot of misinformation, and I think the gaslighting took another image of becoming global gaslighting. And what is really gaslighting? This is this emotional abuse, special form of manipulation, and is to make someone believe that whatever she sees, hears, feels, it's not the truth. So it's completely manipulation of your perception, how you're viewing the world, what is really happening, to completely confuse you. So welcome in the world of gaslighters and how they act, what to do about it. I'm going to mix that a little bit, so give you a little bit how it is in the symptoms, how it looks like, then what to do about it. And I'm going to talk from a little bit psychological perspective plus supernatural from the energetical point of view, how I'm viewing that. However I'm viewing that is my personal thing, so please follow your own experience here. This is not advice. If you find yourself in it and if it's helpful, let me know about it. I'm always glad to hear and read from you. And please, I know some of you hear it, but still prefer to write me personally. And I could answer that personally, but I think more of you will benefit if it's still under the video in the comment section. So I would really appreciate that. So getting back to gaslighting, it is the goal of it to make you feel insecure, to doubt your feelings, to doubt yourself, even if you have a self-confidence. If you happen to know someone who is practicing gaslighting consciously, soon you are going to question yourself. Whatever you even feel, you are going to feel like you have to record the conversation. Is it true? If you catch yourself on the feeling that you must record a conversation or ask your friends if it's true or not, you are probably a victim of gaslighting and such a specific form of manipulation. So how does it look like? Usually you are going to hear like you are oversensitive. You are feeling too much. You should not feel what you are feeling. This is not true what you are feeling. You shouldn't feel it. And you don't have a right to feel like that. Come on. So it's forbidding you to be who you are and starting to make you question in your own feelings, basically. So if you hear something like that, run away. And of course, you have to differentiate between conscious gaslighting and someone who has really good intentions but just doesn't know any better and really would like to find out more about your life and really doesn't understand, or is your student maybe and likes to really know more and you have to explain. We will get to over-explaining section very, very soon. So how do you protect yourself? You can use deflection. It's working very, very well. However, the conscious gaslighter will use exactly the same techniques you will use. So if you are talking about a current situation, for example, and this person will take, hey, remember 5 years ago you did this and this to me and I blah, blah, blah. You have to, that is deflecting this person from the topic you are currently working on. So that deflection you have to pick up and you have to stop it by saying, for example, okay, I see this is very important for you. However, we can take time for that later. now I have time to come back to the current topic. Let's focus on the current topic, and we will get back to that one you want to talk about. We make an appointment for it, and so on, so on. And of course, the gaslighter that is conscious of it will try to force you and will ask you, so you're not feeling comfortable about it? You don't want to talk about it, huh? You are unable to talk about it. So you have to be very, very firm and strict here and repeat. I see it's very important. We can talk about it later. Now I need you to focus on this topic point. And this is not so easy. We will get to the part of practicing that. The gaslighter will also use a few tricks I will give you today. For another one is like, you are going to hear a lot, that never happened. You are imagining it. There is no evidence. And this is where you are going to feel like you need to start recording the conversation because you are going crazy. You are going to start writing emails. And in a normal conversation, emails are working perfectly fine because you have black on white on the paper in your email what was said, what was settled, or not. So you have a proof. However, with a conscious gaslighter, it doesn't work really, because the more you explain in those emails, the more you try to be understood, the more that gaslighter will take against you. You just give a bullets so he can shoot or she can shoot more at you. So you have to do explain again and again, and it just stops to making any sense. You unfortunately are responsible to end that conversation, and this is the hardest part, because this is not about making the oppressor, making the gaslighter end the conversation. It's about you. It's about you stopping it. That's the hardest one. It's hard because the victim of such manipulation is doubting self. It's also doesn't know, am I crazy or not at this point? Maybe I should listen to that guy, maybe not. And here is where the energetical part comes in. In the James Redfield book, The Celestial Prophecy, he explained that far better by showing how it looks like, but I just will remind you because that's a perfect example. The more the gaslighter talks and the more you feel less and less about yourself, because that's the goal, to make you feel down, even though you're gonna hear, I'm doing this for your goodness, so you're a better person, you are going to feel less and less about yourself. If that's happening, enormous amount of life force, your personal life force, energy goes to gaslighter. That's why you need to stop. And that's why you have less and less energy to stop it, because you are basically sucked out of the energy. Such manipulation is distorting your personality. Your integrated personalities, your sub-personalities, you don't know who you are anymore. It's isolating you from your environment. That's the goal of the gaslighter, just like a narcissist. And I encourage you to check the video about narcissists, female and male. And it has nothing to do with the gender. It's just how it's called, because they are differentiating. The gaslighting also happens because of lack of empathy. They just lack empathy, or they really are unconscious and they really want to know what is going on and how I can make it better. And some of them pretend that they are really good, and some of them, they are not conscious of what's really happening. A few signs. How does it look like? So a little bit more, because all of that you have to stop. That's clear, I hope enough. But how does it look like really, what you can expect? What did I do wrong to you? Sounding dumb or aggressive, depends. You are the problem. So there is an enormous amount of guilt thrown at you about what's happening. It's always your fault. They're going to blame you. Insincere apology. I'm sorry you feel that way, said coldly, and you know that this person is not sorry at all. I don't remember saying that. So again, that never happened, right? This type of thing. Using your past, your sensitive things from your life, from your personality, so throwing that at you. You have panic attack, you are in anxiety, you should go and get help. You should go to therapist. Maybe you should go on psychotropic drugs, whatever. You're too emotional. So questioning basically your feelings, who you are, everything about you. Another one is minimizing you. So just leave it. Don't worry about it. Why you always come back to that? Just, it's not a big deal, right? I didn't think it's gonna be a big deal. Come on. And so also the flipping the conversation, so turning it. So if they feel like they cannot continue, they are starting to become the victim. They are starting to play the victim, like you did them wrong. That's also something typical that you may come across with in a conversation with someone or so on. Whatever I'm saying now, if you connect that with any of the relationship of people you knew in your past, that's one thing, but also relate that to the misinformation and global thing that happens right now. In some countries, we have that more and more. This is also about politicians and putting new rules and exactly doing that and flipping the conversation and so on. So please also look at that when you're hearing it. Those people who are using conscious gaslighting, they always use what's very dear to you. So if the freedom is good to you, they are going to say, if you're not going to do this, then your freedom will be limited. And you probably know what I'm talking about, considering our global situation right now. Their action never matches the words. So if they say, I love you, it means I love to control you. And you can also hear some of the politicians saying, we care about you. Well, we care about controlling you. They give you also some positive and negative impulses together that makes you like schizophrenic in your feelings because you don't know what to feel anymore. You feel confused most of the times. So there is the praise with the hate. So there's this like, you're a really good person, you're really good, you're a really great person, but if you just wouldn't be so shy, So again, this lack of appreciation of for who you are. They want to change you, they want to turn you into something else, and they are not going to accept. So there is this also psychological programming, giving you carrot for something you do as they want to, and taking away from your reward or punishing you if you are not following the rules, what's supposed to happen according to their narratives, whether they are psychopaths or they are, it's happening globally in our current world situation. And now boundaries. Of course, you need a very healthy boundaries, not only to other people, but also to what happened and to whatever narrative you hear. I didn't say one more thing. This is also about separation. So separating you. What they do, they separate you and also create distortion and fight between one group and another. And we had recently quite a lot of that in our global situation as well. So I don't have to get into politics here to let you know what I'm talking about. So basically it's distract you. So one thing is happening and then at the same time they could go and do their own agenda in that time, but you are busy fighting someone else. So you are harmless. You are not going to protest because you are just busy fighting someone else. When you do set your boundaries, and I did a number of videos about that, and I suggest you follow the section, the playlist, self-realization, where I put most of those more psychological videos there, and more supernatural in the section of paranormal supernatural. And what I didn't mention, when you set your boundaries, it has to do a lot with over-explaining. A lot of us, we are over-explaining ourselves because we want to be understood. We want to communicate. If we are having this healthy approach, we want to be understood, communicate, get things done. We need results. So sure. Just to say that you don't have responsibility to explain everything. You still want to do that, especially to those dear ones to you. And this is, if there is a gaslighter, of course, they are going to take advantage of it. And anytime I caught myself on that, I was spending an hour, and I know people were spending 5 hours on the conversations like that. It never ends well for both sides, actually, except of the gaslighter that fed on the energy. So if you do realize that you are explaining and you keep on answering the questions, why didn't you do this, but why, I want to understand why, please explain me why, and you keep going for an hour, it's high time to stop. So that's something that the sooner you catch yourself that is happening, the better your chances. The more you go and the more confused you are going to become, the less energy you're going to have for that. Another thing is to, when you do over-explain, because you also want to understand, because you are following the concept of maybe you want to be a good person, you want to share your ideas with the world, you need to be listened to. So this is where is it coming from, and how is that connected now with the dose? And probably you heard whatever connotation you have with the dose. I hope it's not only the voodoo one and doing the artifacts and magic on it, but those are powerful tools, how we can practice our responses to what's happening. And it's widely used in many schools of therapy, not only in magic, and some of you may think in voodoo especially, but long time ago, or maybe not so long time ago, our parents, grandfathers, grandmothers were doing those for us, and they had always that protective powers, and children loved that. Children also did their own dose, and they also play with that. Every children's psychologist knows that it's far better to watch people playing with their dose, with their items they have, and listen to their stories. And it is much more revealing than just having a kid for the session therapy. Because in a one story, when you play with a kid, when you have two, remember that it was this one, I used it for my sketches, and I also got a lot of gifts. So when you do the play role and you use that, there is a very high chance of revealing the information normally you wouldn't reveal, you wouldn't let go. And also you have fun, you do it more joyously, and also you can get access to this darker side of your personality according to the Jungian psychology, to this dark passenger, darkness in your soul, and integrate it better, because you are not this, you're just having fun with playing the roles. Also, there is something like we do not always want to face our monsters that are chasing us at night in the dreams and so on. And if you play it out in a safe environment with maybe someone with you, a dear friend of you, or a therapist, you have a better chance to access that material from the safe perspective, a safe spot. It is also used in the Bert Hellinger method, the family constellation, when the people also who do that, they watch others being in that circle. They are observant more, so they are not sucked into probably heavy content of the current family when it's something is not going so well. So you can also use those at that. So in the therapy and as a protective tool when you do that yourself and so on. I hope that was clear enough for today. I think this is it. If you have any questions, let me know about it. And thank you for today. And I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Bye-bye.